Welcome to Stereo 3D Productions and this PiMax gameplay B-roll video. So recently I made a PiMax first impressions video, and I had to try quite a few bits of software in order to form a solid opinion and be able to say what I like about the headset, what I don't like about the headset. So it took quite a lot of gameplay, so this is going to be basically a compilation of all this gameplay, which was also used in the first impressions video itself. And it's going to be uninterrupted with commentary and so forth. Now, you might notice that right now, the commentary is actually a voiceover. And there's two reasons for that. First reason is that I was awfully silent during this session. I was trying to concentrate on the race, and when that happens, it's pretty hard to go ahead and do casual commentary. I'm not used to these cars on top of that, so I was extra concentrated in order to be able to give a decent performance, which actually improved the test itself. But the other mistake here is that for some reason, the game did not record any audio. So when I did the capture, I check it after, I can't even hear the engines. I'm like, whoops, something went wrong with this one. I'm not sure exactly what, but it's got no game audio. So I figured I'd do a little voiceover here and describe what's going on and why I picked iRacing to try with the PiMax. It turns out that if you're going to do a car simulation of any kind, having a wide field of vision, a good peripheral vision, is actually going to be an advantage. So this headset advertises a very large horizontal field of view, and I wanted to give it the biggest test possible, seeing if it would give me a tactical advantage in a racing simulation. Now, I picked dirt racing most specifically, and this is because in dirt racing, when there's a car near your blind spot or within your blind spot, you quickly want to know. So this means that having a wide horizontal field of view in a VR headset will actually be extremely advantageous in these cars, whereas they would be just slightly advantageous in mostly anything else. So I figured I'd take these cars because they got a lot of sideways action, and that really will challenge that horizontal field of view and see how valuable it is. Now, I did complain a lot in my first impressions video that I get distortion at the edge of the field of view. So on the left and right edge, I'd say the last 15-20 degrees is barely usable. It's distorted to hell. So I figured, knowing this, I went into iRacing and I'm like, is that massively distorted part of the image still going to be of use to me? Am I still going to be able to use that to accurately react to, say, a car next to me or something I see in the corner of my eye that I should be avoiding or reacting to in some way? And it turns out that this actually worked very well. It turned out to be just as much of a good test as I thought it would be. As soon as I launched this, even in practice, which we don't have the footage here of the practice, only the actual race, especially in practice, I had to dodge that green car over there, who was also participating in the practice before the race. He was going around, and he was going around very fast, but he'd make a mistake, and I would suddenly need to dodge the car, and sometimes it was very near to my right side, where I had to very much see what was going on without having it in my direct field of view, like right in front of me. And on several occasions, about 2 or 3 times in this race alone, I would say that that outer edge of the field of view turned out to be actually useful despite the fact that it's very distorted. So it revealed to me something that until this point I was very skeptical of, because I saw that distortion and I'm going to be like, this is going to be distracting when I run a racing simulation because it's so distorted. Well, I figured let's test it out and see if that's the case. And it turns out that it wasn't the case as much as I thought it would be. Many times, even though it's very distorted, that edge of the field of view gave me a tactical advantage as I wanted to check out. And it turned out to be actually really fun, because another thing about this, I could have run this track solo, go in circles solo, and just have almost just as much fun. The reason being is that horizontal field of view being wider makes that aspect of that sensation of speed a lot more convincing. The fact that you can see further out to the edges of your view sort of cheats your brain more into thinking you're actually going really fast. And I could feel that straight line pull of these cars. Wow, that's a moment where I really need, right there, the guy I just dodged to my right, that's a moment where I really needed the wide field of view, because what you didn't see there is in my right edge of the field of view. This guy was still, because this is a capture of the left eye image in the headset. So the right eye image would have all that field of view on the right side of my car. When I dodged that guy, it turns out he was still moving forward. He was actually headed to T-bone my car. I do believe that was accidental, but nonetheless, his car is drifting aimlessly, and I basically had a chance to see in the edge of my field of view how goddamn close he came to actually touching my car and wrecking my race. Still, I don't think it was intentional. It was just this car was drifting, and I just saw like 2-3 inches go by there, and I was like, whoo, oh yeah. Oh, and I make a mistake here trying to put this guy one lap down. Good thing I didn't wreck the car, because the move itself was kind of useless. I mean, I'm leading the race. The checkered flag's about to come up, so no need to push harder. Anyways, so the gameplay's about to end, and we're going to move on to some elite dangerous gameplay again with the enormous field of view. Alright, second wide field of view test. This is another seated VR experience. I can kind of say that, safely say that seated VR is by now my specialty by far. It is my favorite way of doing virtual reality. Yes, I do like room scale. Yes, room scale has kind of grown on me over time, but nothing beats good old seated VR. There's a few reasons why I tend to prefer seated VR to room scale or anything else, for a matter of fact. That would be because most vehicular simulations are done seated, and you're bound to be using controls other than motion controls. Basically, you're gonna have some special kind of controls here: a steering wheel, a joystick, rudder pedals, gas pedal, stuff like that. Like, I'll give you an example. I really don't like doing vehicular simulations with motion controls. I don't like holding a steering wheel with motion controls. It doesn't feel real. It's not convincing. In fact, it feels kind of clownish. I really don't like when I see that implemented in games. Same goes for like flight controls with motion controls. It makes absolutely no sense to me. You're gonna want a joystick, a steering wheel, depending on what kind of vehicle you're operating, a yoke if you like flying airplanes all the time, but it just doesn't feel real when it's motion control. So when it comes to the types of VR I like, I also even like playing first-person shooters seated with the mouse and keyboard, no motion controls. So that being said, I'm kind of lucky that... Okay, I am clear of the station. I'll be able to jump in a moment, but I just wanted to say I'm kind of lucky that PiMax has serious issues with positional, because I can just go ahead and turn that off and try a bunch of seated experiences that I know I like already, and just try them out with this headset and get to compare directly. Now, obviously, the object of these sessions is specifically to see how the wide field of view works out. I tried it out in iRacing, and now I'm trying it out in Elite Dangerous, two situations where you may gain an advantage from having a much wider field of view. And I've spoken that the outer edges of the field of view are kind of warped, and I want to see if that distracts me or immerses me. I know so far that I've been distracted more than immersed, but I want to give it more chances at redeeming itself. So far, iRacing is a little bit surprising. I had a few revelations. I'm not going to say that the edges are not distracting, but I still got interesting information from what I saw in the corner of my view. I knew there would be a car there, even though the image is a little distorted. So that was interesting. It's not making me come back on my determination fully, but it did signal something positive. So I'm going to just make sure my VR is nicely reset, and it's going to say screenshot taken for some reason. And I do believe I hit this. I haven't played this in a while, by the way. It's it's been months. I haven't had the chance to make that many videos over the last 2 months even, so let alone play things for fun. But here we go, Elite Dangerous. I took a bounty mission, some of my favorite stuff to do in the sim, and we're gonna see how that works out. I've had one crash so far with this game. I just flew out of the space station and my game crashed. So my video driver crashed actually. So hopefully that doesn't happen this time. Mission objective detected already. Okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and see if it's there. The blue's there. No, it's not. So I gotta go to the beacon. I'm just gonna make sure I'm not gonna plow into something. That beacon. This is what I want. Our destination. So one problem that I'm actually having a lot actually is that I'm not tracking, right? I have no trackers active right now. I'm really running this as the DK1 used to run, which is it just tracks itself. I get a lot of drift. If I look far left or far right, I find myself having to recenter my tracking often. This was the case with iRacing, but even more so with this one. It may have to do with performance, because Elite Dangerous obviously will perform a little less than iRacing. Actually, iRacing, this is what surprises me, iRacing with full resolution gave me amazing performance. It was running at exactly this headset's frame rate. I got no judder whatsoever. In here, I'm getting tiny, tiny little blips of judder. This is nothing like when I played BioShock Infinite, for example, using Vorpex. That gave me a shit ton of judder with even the best setup possible. Whereas in this case, it's performing a lot better. So gotta give it to him when it comes to first-party VR, which is now my second title in a row in a short span of time. It works out pretty well performance-wise, and I do notice increased pixel density. I mean, this is some of the best VR imagery I've seen as I've been trying this headset. There we go. All right, a little rusty on how to line up with my mission destination, but I gotta figure it out. Had to go scan the nav beacon. Go ahead and engage the frameshift drive. While I head on my way to the mission target, I gotta say, I complimented this headset's lack of SDE while playing BioShock Infinite. However, when you're in a bright scene, well, not bright, but high contrast, like there's a lot of darks and brights in the same scene here, I'm actually seeing a little bit of SDE, and right now, like, it's going through my head, I'm slightly disappointed because, I mean, I could compare this to some other well-known headsets I've tried. I can compare this to Gear VR, the first edition of Gear VR that used a Note 4 as the main display panel, or the ones that used a Note 5. It's very similar. Here I go, having to recenter again. But yeah, the parts that are bright, I'm seeing a bit of SD. This may not have to do with the pixel density more than it had to do with the type of pixels these displays use that are not optimal for VR. And this is why the SDE in the Oculus Rift and the HTC Vive are so damn low. It's because they're using display panels that are basically the pixels don't have that much space between them, so you really don't see that much SDE for the resolution they have. In this case, these are 3840 by 2160 display panels. There's 2 of them, so you'd think you'd see less SD, but right now with the high contrast, this ain't grain anymore. It's actually SDE, and this is a bit disappointing. Makes, like, I'm almost not finding any difference right now in Elite Dangerous. The first time I can say this. The other things I tried, I did see a huge difference, but in this case, I'm not seeing much difference between the Vive, the Oculus, or this headset. And yeah, that's a little disappointing. It's also hard to explain. You'd have to try it for yourselves to see what I'm talking about, but it's really not that great looking. And I'm pretty sure the resolution is actually outputting good, because I can tell there's little to no aliasing in the graphics. This really has to do with the headset's displays themselves. And here I go having to recenter again. So this Elite Dangerous is showing me some interesting parts that I'm gonna have to mention in my first impressions. So far, this headset is really a mixed bag for me. Oh shit. Here I am talking and I completely forget that I have a target to follow. I'll let it slip by and I'll catch back up with it. I'll catch back up with it. I have experience doing this. I'm a trained professional here. Trained professional. But it's nice. I'm getting a lot of revelations, and these are very important. If I'm going to deliver a just first impressions, I want to see as much as I can in this short span of time where I only have this headset for one weekend. And in the end, I know that I'm confirming the fact that I'm happy that I didn't spend $800 on this headset. It's got a lot of nice things to show for, but it's got a lot of problems on the software end. I'm gonna count the positional tracking problems as software end, most definitely. And also sometimes it just doesn't do the basic job very well. Tell you honestly, right now I'm a bit baffled as to how it's handling high contrast. So it's really doing poor in a high contrast situation, to the point where I'm seeing spaces between the pixels. All right, let's target one of these fuckers. Let's wait for the scan to happen. Let's deploy our hardpoints. Oh yeah, that's a mission target. There we go. I have these nice missiles equipped.
Scan detected.
I don't know why I accidentally... Oh yeah, because I pressed what I thought was my boost button.
Target shields offline.
There we go. That'll help. Well, this won't take too long. I'm gonna try to get closer to him so I can actually see some detail here. Because all I'm looking at is a little point of light here. Oh, this is cool. There we go.
Target shields online.
Target shields off.
Target shields offline.
Nice. I wonder if I can get any of these other guys now. I always like doing that. I basically get a little more than they asked for. Wanted. All right. I'm just gonna go ahead and destroy him. I know I'm gonna get a fine for this, but they're also gonna give me a bounty that's greater than the fine. And I always found that the one I don't take as a main target is actually a little harder to fight. Oh, this is cool. I'm right up this tail right now.
Target shields offline.
Nice. Oh, that was good. Cannot let him get away. Because if he gets away, that's it. We've got to play finely with the throttle here. I think I got him. Nope, not yet.
Target shields online.
He's redirecting power.
Target shields offline.
Come on. Yes! Nice!
Destroyed.
Fuck yeah. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and recenter my view. I could tell that I was way off center there. You can tell from my Steam screenshot taken, which Steam reset itself to screenshot on F12, which I find really annoying. Because I use F12 to recenter the view in VR. I should put it to a joystick key, but for now, the only one I have available would actually be pressed accidentally very often. So I'm using F12, but that was just as exhilarating as it was with the Vive or with Oculus. And the edges of my field of view, I mean, I see in them, but in this sim, I find that they're even more distorted than they were in other things I've done. The best so far has been iRacing. For some reason in iRacing, it was only the outer slither of my field of view that was distorted, but in here, I can tell right now, like if I do this, the hand model, the arm model, is not just distorted, it's fucking blurry. If I look straight at it like this, it doesn't look so good. I'm gonna try with the left eye as well. Yeah, so I would say that in here, I mean, the 140 degrees of my field of view up to here is good, and then it's just all wasted. Might as well not be rendered. So these are things I wanted to check out. Oh, look at this. I see a bunch of targets. Is there a party here? Is there a party? Is there anyone who wants some more? Oh, I see something right here. I'm coming for you. I see him. I'm gonna scan this fucker because I know that there was 3 ships when I arrived here. Let's see if we can make some more scrap metal. I don't think I have missiles left. I may not. I don't know.
Frameshift charge detected.
Oh shit. Yeah, he's leaving. He's leaving. Fucking pussy. You wanna catch?
Shields offline.
Oh yeah, there you go. You sure you wanna boost out of here, you fucking pussy? Ooh. Went a bit too hasty on that shit. He wants to dance because he hasn't.
Target shields offline.
He didn't warp yet.
Target shields offline.
There you go. Eat one of these. Hey, you're a wanted target. I'm just gonna have some fun with you. Just want to play, man. Just want to play. I'm not trigger happy at all. I swear. Oh, right in the bum. Oh,
Destroyed.
that looked beautiful. All right, so oh shit. I think I was overheating right there. It was time for me to stop fighting there. Okay, wow. I destroyed more than I expected I would there, and that was a lot of fun to do. Yes, I may have actually enjoyed that more than I should. So let me remove the filters. Go back down to home base. Actually, home base just passed by right there. Airfit, lock destination. And let's go ahead and put that in the center of review. Hopefully I get to dock without my GPU driver crashing, because I do want to see the station again. I did not notice the issues I have with the displays right now while I was in the space station, because there's less contrast. Everything is more evenly bright, and that's where these displays, no pun intended, shine. So let's...
Cannot comply.
Oh, right. Retract hard point.
Frameshift drive charging.
It's gonna accelerate the charge. Little engine boost, and here we go.
3, 2, 1.
When you're not paying attention to the outer field of view, it does look a little bit better. But what I find disconcerting about the wide field of view is even when you're not paying attention to it and you notice the distortion less, you still can sort of see it. It's still, in your mind, you still go, am I seeing that, or is it fucking blurry and distorted? So it's kind of like when you're looking straight ahead, when your eyes are like oriented straight ahead, it's less bad, but it's still just not showtime ready. So right now, headed back to Russell Ring after a fun mission, but with a few disappointments that I hadn't even noticed yet coming out of this headset. So I think this was a very productive exercise again. So it's the second thing I record. I didn't do any vocal notes while I was doing iRacing because I was so concentrated on the racing. So, but I'm gonna have all that footage for when I want to do a first impressions video of this headset. So there's another issue with this headset that I see a lot, especially in iRacing, where the field of view was so blasted that the UI was this big. Readability of text is really not hot.
You're on course, Commander. Ground crew on standby.
Oh wow, we had a drift there of like...
Sit down on landing pad 1
So I gotta say, when it comes to like internal tracking, this thing's internal tracking is actually worse than the DK1. I mean, I've never seen so much drift in VR ever, so that's a downside I should really mention. Not only do you have positional tracking that is literally dissident, but you also have internal tracking that is not hot at all. I'm gonna go ahead and place myself. Yee! Wow. That has to be my worst arrival at a space station. 19, they said. You see,
gear deployed.
whoa. Did I just get hit? Yeah, I just got hit.
Caution. Maintain safe separation.
Yes, that wasn't my fault. Fuck off. I slowed down. I couldn't fucking read the signs. So yeah, readability in this headset is generally poor. I have a bit of problems in this, but iRacing was, well, like I said, it was mostly the field of view. iRacing's not designed to run at such a high field of view, so it shrinks the UI relative to your field of view, and that just, that looks really bad. And here, I mean, it was less of a problem, but look, I couldn't even fucking read that 19, that was distance. And I do think that some of that has to do with super sampling. You have to super sample a lot when you run in this headset, and that causes issues with readability. You're running at such a high res that it crunches the text into tiny little marks rather than actual readable letters. So like the text and the little thing there, Russell Ring Pilots Federation local branch, is a bit hard to read.
Enjoy your visit, Commander.
Okay, wow. I didn't expect this to work that well. It's the first time I have both lighthouses tracking. I'm going to do this as quickly as possible just in case everything fails again. But the fact that both lighthouses are tracking probably means I got a far more reliable setup than all the other million attempts I did before. Though I don't plan on incorporating any of this gameplay into my Let's Play series. I'd rather keep the Let's Play series to proven technology, unlike what I did with BioShock Infinite, which in the end actually did cause me a handful of trouble. I'm just gonna do a short playthrough here, so I have some video from my first impressions video, some footage, and at the same time, just gonna talk about my thoughts as I go through it. And I'm probably not even gonna save the game or do any progress. It's just really to see how it works out with this headset doing some positional VR. So my positional VR is fully working here. Both hands are tracking. I do see the left tracker go out to lunch every now and then. Probably has to do more with using this headset than the overall reliability of the Vive tracking, which I've been very on the fence with over time. I tended to prefer Oculus Touch tracking over this one. But for now, let's just go and slowly walk towards our objective, not caring of how long we have to walk. And like I said, I'm not going to save this game, so it doesn't matter if I die in the process. All right, the first two things I can come up with here is that, first off, this game has a problem with aliasing in all its forms. On the desktop, in VR, with Vorpex, it's always had an aliasing issue. And they do provide an anti-aliasing technique called TAA, which is really awful. It does more harm than good for the VR edition, so it's not something I want to use. It is off right now, and I can tell you that in the view I have, the aliasing is real. I mean, this is pretty intense. This is the most I've ever noticed it in this game. And this probably has to do with my resolution setting, the super sampling, which is not all the way to the max. Now, I would try that, but I won't. And the reason being is, look, after 5 attempts trying to get positional tracking working over the weekend on this system, and let's not count the other times I tried at the office and did eventually get it working, this is the first time I get it working here, and closing the game and going to change those settings risks me losing that tracking and not getting it back. So I will not squander this opportunity to try out positional VR with the PiMax, which is, by the way, in terms of gaming, the very first time I ever get to do it. So yeah, it's that bad, by the way, configuring this. So obviously the aliasing is real, and I'm gonna have to endure that. Now, the second thing I notice in this headset with this game right now is the outer edges of the field of view. See, this one's in increasing order of bad. With iRacing in today's session, I was starting to think, even though I'd seen it before, and I was like, wow, this is bad. In iRacing, I was starting to get interested. I was like, is it growing on me, or is iRacing just doing a better job of it, or is it because I really need to see a wider field of view in this simulator, and I'm sort of appreciating it more? I was really coming back on the fence. It wasn't completely redeeming itself. It was doing a little better. Then in Elite Dangerous, I was reminded how distracting these blurry edges are. And right now, it's at its worst. It's actually even worse than it felt in Elite Dangerous, probably because there's more brightness in this game, more even brightness, and I am really seeing it, how distorted and blurry the outer edges are. So I'd say my useful field of view ends where my hands are passing right now. If I'm facing my camera, let me face it correctly. This is where my useful field of view ends. The rest is all blurry, and it's not blurry in a sense that, you know, this is my outer field of view. No, feels like I'm wearing like glasses that are appropriate for my eyes, like prescription glasses that work correctly for my eyes. So the center of my view is all nice and sharp, except these glasses have really, really, really thick lenses, so I'm getting distortion on the outside edges. That's what I can describe it as. You'd have to see it for yourself. But down the line, it just looks like the field of view is being unwarped incorrectly by these lenses. So, I mean, might as well, if you're going to do mostly anything in VR, except maybe iRacing, put the field of view on small, because that big field of view is virtually useless. I'm going to try to show you on the screen a screenshot of the SteamVR wireframe room at full field of view. So this is going to be really wide on the screen. It's going to look small in terms of height, and it's going to take up the full width of your screen. I'm going to show you what amount of that is actually useless right now, and in most cases I've tried. And might get a general idea of why I'm saying what I'm saying right now. So I'm going to take a lot of risk, by the way. I said I wasn't going to save this game along the way, not going to make any progress, just walking around trying to see what the headset is making of this, how my immersion goes, and so far, I mean, this is not bad. I'm not going to say that this is bad, but I would probably get the exact same kick out of the HTC Vive or the Oculus Rift. Right now, I mean, there's not really any point in me running with this headset at the moment. Performance-wise, something I gotta bring up, in the case of iRacing, in the case of Elite Dangerous, and right now in the case of Fallout 4, performance is good. I don't know if it's good time warp. I'm not seeing the edges move in and out of view, so it may not even be time warp. It may just be that the frame rate is working really good right now. I don't see flicker. I mean, I've seen it once or twice in my entire combined play sessions in this iRacing and Elite Dangerous. So performance actually better than I expected for today. Just when it comes to the VR output, I might as well right now especially be playing with the Vive or the Rift, because, I mean, again, I gotta bring it up. It's an $900 headset. And I don't see the value in buying something so expensive when it's not really bringing me any added value other than hoping my tracking doesn't die, for fuck's sake. Because here's the thing with the Vive lighthouses, your tracking depends on the headset's ability to see the trackers. Unlike the Oculus, where it's the opposite, the trackers must see the headset and the controllers. This is completely the opposite. So, obviously there's something wrong with this headset's ability to see the trackers and makes things very unreliable. But right now, I got 2 functioning trackers according to the software. When I load it up, is the first time I see that happening. It wasn't just one of the 2 trackers working. So let's go for a ride. I mean, let's go for a test drive. Like I said, doesn't matter if I die. Doesn't matter if I really mess up. But just gonna keep going. Gotta bring it up again. Readability in this headset is some of the worst. And it's not resolution. It's actually probably super sampling, causes some kind of aliasing on the text, which makes text really hard to read. Like, if I have it here, it's not that I completely can't read things, but sometimes I have to guess what they say. Like psycho and purified water, they're not quite evident the first time you see them. It's just you recognize the words and you know it's what it says, which like the A, the T, and the E, and the R in water are like almost glued together. It doesn't, like, I'm really, really surprised with that. I thought it was going to be the complete opposite, but it may have to do also with the headset's pixel pattern, which, you know, every display uses a slightly different pixel pattern, except for the Oculus and the Vive, which use the exact same display panels. But I'm a little disappointed with this headset's ability to display text. Through history, as headsets gained a higher pixel density, text was easier to read, not harder. So I'm a bit baffled. And in iRacing, the field of view was so high that the UI was like the size of a freaking thumbnail. It's understandable in that case that I have problems reading text, but not here. Everything is proportionally the same size here. I shouldn't have reading problems with this thing. So that's yet another disappointment that leads me to question even this headset's existence in the first place. Hey, come back here. Back here. Don't make me use teleport. We reached an intercept course.
I found it first.
Hey,
You'd better clear out. That hatch is mine. So that's it, huh?
Oh, wow. Okay. Come on, scavenger. I don't want to shoot my dog here. Nice. Alright. Wow. There goes the tracking a lot. Wow. Okay. That explains why. Cage armor? What the fuck is cage armor? Wow. Whoops. Oh no. Oh god. For fuck's sake. There we go. Ooh, there are turrets here. I don't know what the... Oh, that's the merchant. Oh, that's cool. There's the merchant, and there's a bunch of people with the merchant. I hope they're not there to attack me, rather to assist with the transaction. Wow. Excuse me.
let me know if you want some.
Let me know if you want something. Alright, cool. Covenant. I've never been here. Alright, this is cool.
Stick to the roads, and you got a better chance of surviving.
Okay, but what about Covenant? Let me see if they'll let me enter this place.
You here visiting Covenant, pal? If not, move along. You know, armed people loitering around. Not good for the nerves.
Is that what this place is called?
Yeah, we're a real up-and-comer. A pit stop on the road for traders and such. We're not that big, but we got the bargains. Got a dock that can patch you up. We even got some lemonade. Well, that's what Deezer calls it anyway. There's a small catch, though. We don't just let anyone inside. There's an entrance test. We call it the safe test. Everyone's got to take it.
Interesting idea. Between you and me, what's the test for?
I probably shouldn't say nothing, but listen. We want to make sure only good people come into Covenant. No undesirables. Nobody that ain't actually what they seem, you know?
Being cautious. Not a bad call.
You do what you gotta do. You want to take the test? Pass it, and I'll let you in.
Let's see. Hey.
Sure.
Good. Take a seat, and we can begin.
Well, you said take a seat, so I took a seat. Oh, you mean there. No. Well, how do I get up from... Oh, like that. Duh.
So let's begin. There ain't no wrong answers.
Okay.
You are approached by a frenzied scientist who yells, "I'm going to put my quantum harmonizer in your photonic resonation chamber." What's your response?
Science? Knock him out? Or let's say sneak out.
Slip away before he finishes his rant.
Well, we're speaking. Next question. While working as an intern in the clinic, a patient with a strange infection on his foot stumbles through the door. The infection is spreading at an alarming rate. The doctor has stepped out for a while. What do?
Restrain the patient and merely observe as the infection spreads.
Very, very interesting. You discover a young boy lost in a cave. He's hungry and frightened, but also appears to be in possession of stolen property. What do?
Pick his pocket. Escort and turn in. Yeah, I guess...
lead the boy to safety.
I'm trying to pass the
Then
test here,
turn him
by the
over to
way.
someone in charge.
Very curious.
I'm not trying to be a snitch.
Congratulations! Hey, you made it onto a baseball team.
Nice!
Which position do you prefer?
Oh.
Pitcher.
Are you certain about that? Never mind. Next question.
What?
Your grandmother invites you to tea, but you're surprised when she gives you a pistol and orders you to kill someone. What do?
I'd throw my tea in her face.
Of course. Old Mr. Abernathy has locked himself in his quarters again, and you've been ordered to get him out. How do you proceed?
Pick
I'd
lock.
grab a bobby pin and pick the lock.
And that is all you do? Nothing else? Wait, don't answer.
But
Oh no. You've been exposed to radiation, and a mutated hand has grown out of your stomach. What's the best course of treatment?
I dose myself with anti-mutagen agent.
Ignoring possible. Yes. A neighbor is in possession of a Grognak the Barbarian comic book, issue number 1. You want it. What's the best way to obtain it?
I'd trade him for one of the comic books I own.
You're almost done.
all right.
Last question.
Last
You
question.
decide it would be fun to play a prank on your father. You enter his private restroom when no one is looking, and
Sabotage.
I'd put a
door.
firecracker in his toilet. That never gets old.
it's over. No one's ever answered quite like you. But hey, you passed. I'll open up the gate.
Cool. All right. Oh, there we go. I had to move to get up from that chair. So this is actually going to be a good part of the test. The sun is coming up. I'm getting more and more light, and there's going to be a new town to check out. So because of the way the tracking gives out right now, I really hastily placed my trackers, not expecting this to work very well, and it worked a lot better than I expected, and now I don't want to move anything because I have to start over and I'm not sure it's going to work again. So this is not the best tracker alignment, and if I move to the left, I tend to lose my left hand and eventually my right hand. Tracking's not so hot, so combat would be a little bit frustrating. I did a little bit. I mean, I had a chance to check that out. But now to check out some visuals, actually walk around. And something I gotta tell you, even during the stationary part like that interrogation, that goddamn wide field of view was distracting me. The wall to my right, I kept seeing it, the distorted wood, and I was like just, it can't get out of my head, and this thing is gonna linger a whole time the entire time that I'm freaking
Well, hello.
playing with this headset. Hi. Hi there, sir. And now look, going through this door frame is... it's like... Wait, what'd you say?
Hi.
Well, hello, stranger. The name's Jacob, and I run this town. Glad you passed the test. Our door's always open to good quality people. You can use one of the beds in the guest house. And you should visit Penny's store.
I appreciate the hospitality.
For people like you, anytime. You might want to stay clear of Mr. Dan. I've had some complaints about him.
Who's Dan?
He's a gun for hire. Not the most savory line of work, if you ask me. You have a good stay now.
Thank you. So here's something I'm discovering from this short little test playthrough. I'm gonna come back here for my Let's Play series, because I don't necessarily want to do this whole fucking castle bullshit back there right away. I want to take my time before I get to that and level up my character, make sure I'm really mentally ready for that shit. So in the meantime, probably gonna pass by here. This looks like a nice place to add to your portfolio in the game, and when I originally played it with Vorpex, I did not visit this place. Wow. This is really cool, and I like places where there's a lot of NPCs. This is like, I think the first time I see a full populated town.
Enjoy your stay.
Cool.
Understood. Any other complications with the injury? It's healing up pretty
Oh,
good.
that's stealing. Alright, cool.
If you're hurting,
Hi.
just tell the doctor.
Could use some supplies, actually.
I
Oh, no,
suppose
no.
I could spare some stim
I
packs.
just wanted to rotate. Dr. Patricia. So how? Oh, why? How much? How many caps do you charge per? 146 caps per? Yeah, put that.
Howdy.
Please hold. Thank you.
Enjoy your stay.
My pleasure, I shall. Oh my god! This is going to be a good moment to try out positional. I hope my tracker's going to see me while I do this. Hey kitty. Hey kitty cat. Where are you, cat? I'm sorry that I can only pet you with a gun. Look, it's a kitty cat. Are you guys going to get along? As I look close up on this cat, now I'm starting to see that nice pixel density that the PiMax has to offer. Meow! This is funny. This is actually a pretty good cat model. The animation's not so hot, the walking animation. It's okay, but look, when it strafes and turns, it's a little weird. No, don't get away from me. Hi. Hi, kitty. So yeah. The positional gets interesting when there's a little cat there. So do you have more
hello.
cats? Hello. Do you have more cats in your house? No? Just keep exploring, buddy. Cat's just headed for that house. He lives in
From
this
around
town.
here? God, I hope not. Had enough of these hicks.
You have a problem with the people here?
All the fake smiles and the fancy talking puts me on edge. The sooner I'm out of here, the better. You know anything about Stockton's caravan?
A caravan? What are you talking about?
I signed on with old man Stockton to find his lost caravan. What's left of it is just outside of town. The last stop was here, so I've been trying to put together the story. But I keep getting the runaround. Got a proposal for you. Help me find Stockton's people, and we split the reward. At least one survivor walked out of that massacre. And I intend to make good on my contract.
Why not?
Sounds fair. I'm in.
Here's all I got on the caravan. I don't got proof, but Covenant's involved. Somehow. I'll keep poking around, but let me know if you find anything.
Search destroyed caravan for clues. Oh, that's cool. I gotta bring up something. This is one of these moments where that wide field of view, despite the amount of distortion and blurriness within it, like I said, my useful field of view ends here, and then it's the. It was useful for one reason. The guy who just walked behind him, I forget his name, he walked from that balcony all the way to here. I saw him the moment where he like stepped across that mailbox there. There's a mailbox and then a set of stairs. So he was coming down a set of stairs, and I already noticed he was coming at that moment. So while it's very distorted, sometimes it'll be helpful to know something's happening at the outer edges of your field of view, I'll admit. Although, I gotta tell you, this is not necessarily a fully redeeming factor, because, like I keep saying, it's fucking blurry. It's fucking distorted. Like, I see him, and now he's gone. So that you just got an idea there of how much and how long I can see him in the headset. Oh, man. That's... Actually, it was just... No, I wasn't just here. This is another house that's shaped like the other one. This is very cool. Oh, and there's a terminal here. Public terminal. There went my controller tracking. Where am I situated in my space? Yeah, it's not optimal. So they got full defenses here.
Why does one tiny settlement need so much firepower?
Yeah. That's a good question. That's a goddamn good question. I bet you if I steal here, all these things turn on me. So it's a really bad idea to steal in Covenant. So... Wow. What's up, buddy? The one biggest positive I'm getting here is performance. I'm really impressed with the game's performance. I was really impressed with Elite Dangerous's performance and iRacing as well. iRacing, obviously, because iRacing can run on anything, can run on a fucking toaster or a pocket calculator. But when it comes to these two last games, they're a lot more demanding. And unlike my BioShock Infinite playthrough with this headset, which used Vorpex, this is understandable that I have more issues. I am getting zero judder in all three experiences so far. This is really, really optimal. This is the way you would expect the VR to run. Although when it comes to detail, Elite Dangerous was slightly disappointing. This one, I would say, is the most disappointing. I thought the text in this would be a lot more readable. It is not. I know that I maybe should adjust super sampling a bit greater, but like now we fall into the other problem, which is setting up the tracking is so unreliable. I don't want to risk losing it for good. And I want to use it as much as I can right now. So I'm going to go ahead and walk back out to get a full world view. But I gotta say, I mean, it's possible the reason why I'm not getting the best visual results possible is because this headset is revealing the aliasing in this game a lot more than the other headsets are. The other headsets are forgiving with it because they have less pixel density. It's a bit counterintuitive, but there you go. This may be exactly what's happening. Oh wow, look at this house. Never seen this house before. In none of my playthroughs have I seen this house, so let's go ahead and check it out. I can't even enter this one, apparently. Okay. That should be enough for Fallout 4 VR. I don't want to make my recordings too long, because I'm trying to go for a broad idea of what this headset can do rather than play one game for a really long time. Put aside BioShock Infinite. Actually, when I borrowed this, my first plan was to finish BioShock Infinite with that headset. I knew it was near the end, and I wanted to see the game through increased pixel density. Because right now, the more I play with this headset, the less I find that pixel density compelling. Like I said earlier, I might as well be playing with the Vive or the Rift right now. Doesn't make much of a difference. Kind of overall disappointed in this headset. Some positives, some negatives, but down the line should be a lot more positives than this. This is really ordinary, and I'm obviously factor in the fact that you gotta pay big money for this headset. Okay. There's people there, and I want to get into human combat, but these guys look particularly mean, so I think it's a good idea to go ahead and quit the game here. What is that? I don't know. And they spotted me, and they're coming at me. So let's see how quickly I die here. Oh shit. I very quickly, because I didn't even put any quick keys for good. That's a fucking unfortunate way to go right there. But yeah, that gives me a good idea of how the game plays. It's almost identical, except I find the outer edges of the field of view annoying. The aliasing is more prominent in this headset, which I have to admit, in this case, it's the first game I play in the set in my session, and that would include BioShock Infinite, which looked really good, by the way, compared to this. It's really the first one where the aliasing that's some bad degrees of aliasing. Even though text readability was bad in BioShock Infinite, the game itself looked absolutely gorgeous. This does not. It looks better in the other headsets. Not sure exactly why. I have a hint it might be my super sampling, but like I said, I ain't touching that shit. So that's it, folks, for Fallout 4 VR with the PiMax. Oh man, this takes me back. Wow, this is not just a test I'm doing with the PiMax. Yeah, I'm loading Alien Isolation again, and this is the 5th fucking headset I run for Alien Isolation. The first one was the DK1, then there was the DK2, then there was the HTC Vive, and then the Oculus Rift CV1, and now the PiMax. Isn't that cool? I just realized that this is the one game that I've run with every tethered headset I've ever had the chance to get my hands on, which is really cool. And we're gonna see how it fares. Obviously, I'm using the basement as a baseline because I've done it with all the other headsets. Whenever I wanted to test anything, this is the mission I was loading. I have my super sampling at 1.5 right now, and I gotta tell you, I'm really not that impressed. I mean, it looks good in here, but I remember it looking just as good in the Oculus Rift or the HTC Vive. To further damage everything, I don't know if it's the intense field of view that's causing this or the high resolution, but the user interface right now, again, text readability, these are like little blocks in my view. I cannot read any of this. So, not so hot. Like this prompt here is what it says. I can't even guess what it says. I need to recognize it by the item that I'm seeing. Now, when it comes to the objects, the models, I'm surprised at how little aliasing there is, but then again, I am running at 1.5 super sample, so it looks really good. And right now, let's go and actually play the game. Yeah, and yes, for once, I'm doing seated VR with positional working. Haven't had the chance to do that with this headset yet. This will be my first time. I've done positional with Fallout 4 VR, but I have not had a chance to have working positional while doing seated VR. So here we go. Here goes nothing. I know this map by heart. Hopefully I finish it. That is the objective today. I can hear it and it's behind me, so I'm just gonna keep walking. My volume's a bit low on my headphones. That might have been a mistake of me to do. Got it. Oh shit. It's behind me. Where is he? Oh, bye-bye. Get out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Okay, should be going through that door. Okay, in the vent. I just gotta be careful of the drool. And we're good to go. Right. This thingy, and that thingy. That's to my left. I think that was out there. Yeah, it was. You can kind of hear through walls in video games, so it can get confusing when the enemy is behind something, unless the game is obviously designed with proper spatial audio, which is very rare. Something I find weird in this headset, the contrast levels are really not as good as the Oculus or the Vive. This is an LCD headset, so when the brightness levels are very different from one another, it's more obvious in the Vive or in the Rift than it is in this headset. So when it gets really dark like this, I have a hard time seeing things. I don't know if you want to call that more realistic, but I call it a downside. Come on, Ripley, quick. Good girl, Ripley. Good girl. Now, what I like about this playthrough is I do not have to recenter anything ever because I have positional tracking. Oh, that is... Fuck off. Now I'm out of fucking flamethrower fuel, so it's going to be pretty touchy to get the fuck out of here. Do not think I'm gonna make it. I want to try to merry-go-round with it. Okay. Yes! Again, 455 or something like that? I missed one objective? That is my record time in this thing. Oh, look at this. I've seen this screen a bunch of times, and for some reason, I would say that this is one of those screens that looks a lot better in this headset than all the others. Why this screen, though? So... yeah, I see the increased pixel density. Does it completely change the game? No, it doesn't. I'm still playing the same damn game. I'm still vibrate every time I play any of this game, either the campaign or the even more the survivor missions. I vibrate for about half an hour after playing it. And this is no different. Just, I can't read any of this. This is absolutely unreadable. It's tiny. I think it has to do with the field of view setting, which crushes the UI into unreadability. Aside from that, though, I mean, everything really worked well. If anything, functionally speaking, everything worked. But this feels like going back to the DK2 days where some things don't work and some things do. You know what I mean? I'm not saying resolution-wise. Resolution-wise, this is out of the DK2's league, but when it comes to functionality, there's always these little quirks here and there that I'm not used to with commercial VR anymore. So that's it. That'll be my final test of tonight's session, and I'm packing up the headset to return it. So based on everything I have now, I'll be able to put together a video in which I just try to explain everything I experienced with this headset and what my opinion is overall.